All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, salutations to the hopeful elect that's fighting a good fight of faith and truth, in sincerity and wholeheartedly. Shalom to the Akwab, which is the women believers. Shalom to you. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. All right. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So, I'm going to show you a series of videos after I read this set of scriptures, because this is the time that we are in. So you hear what's going on in New York about the quarantine camps and how they could just grab you out of your house. You don't have to have any detection of a disease or anything. They could just do it. So that's something that they passed. And hey, man, you think it's just going to only happen in New York? You see over the years and pretty much over U.S. history, most things happen in 3 cities: New York, California, Washington, D.C. Those are the head cities in the United States. They usually always, do something there first. So, and the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, thus saith Yahweh, say, a sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? All you people out here who still want to turn up and party, but it's okay. You just fulfilling prophecy. As in the days of Noah should be as the same as the days of Son of Man, people eating, drinking, and being merry. It contemneth the rod of my son, as every tree. So this devil that's about to come down with great wrath, he don't have respect for the Lord and his people. That's what it means when they say contemneth. All right. A lack of respect. All right. And disgrace. They look at you as unworthy. So it's going to be nothing for them to take you out. That's why it's called Jacob's trouble. And it says, and he have given it to be furbished that it may be handled. The sword is sharpened. It is furbished. It is given into the hand of the slayer. That's why King David said, deliver me from the wicked, which is thy sword. Psalm 17:13. Cry and howl, son of man, for it shall be upon my people. My people. It shall be upon all the princes of Israel. Terror by reasons of the sword shall be upon my people. Smite therefore upon the thigh. All right. This is why when we out there, we speak with so much passion. We be trying to tell you, these things is about to transpire, but our people don't want to hearken. It's okay. You're going to find out the hard way, because it is a trial. And what if the sword contemneth even the rod? It shall be no more, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So these devils, they don't care about who we are, who that only begotten son is. They still going to do this thing. So now let's get to the videos.
New York State is still fighting for the right to set up quarantine camps. Today, the battle entered the next phase when the court heard oral arguments in the case. NTD's Arian Pastar spoke with the lead attorney and a state senator involved in the case.
Quarantine camps in the state of New York. Governor Kathy Hochul and Attorney General Letitia James want to implement Rule 2.13.
Now you see what date this video is. I say this video from months ago. All right. Because I was wondering what they was going to do about this. And then they talking about the bird flu and all. So, so this is what, about 6 months ago?
It would give the state's Department of Health the power to forcibly isolate individuals suspected of carrying a transmittable disease.
This is truly about being able to control citizens for any reason.
New York State Senator George Borrello.
I'm not giving medical advice. I'm only doing this for educational purposes.
And lead attorney Bobby Ann Cox sued the state over the rule and won the case last year. However, the state appealed, and on Wednesday, attorneys made their case before an appeals court.
The rule says the Commissioner of Health can pick any place that the Commissioner of Health wants to put you. You have no say.
As you can see in this clip, hundreds of people showed up at the court protesting the idea of quarantine camps set up to stop the spread of communicable diseases. Senator, the COVID pandemic is over. Why does the state of New York still want to have the right to set up these camps?
Well, first and foremost, we have to remember, even though the governor and the attorney general tried to make this about COVID,
The senator says the state's rule would apply to a long list of diseases, not just COVID.
It goes everything from toxic shock syndrome to food poisoning. And while food poisoning might be a serious...
New York.
This is happening now, and let me know, is it time to get out of New York? Take a look.
Now, this video 6 days ago.
The New York Appellate Division has ruled in favor of Governor Kathy Hochul in a landmark case for government overreach. Rule 213, isolated quarantine and procedures, will give the state of New York the ability to come into your home and take you away to quarantine you without any notice and for any virus or infection they deem.
So, the video that we just watched, that was from 6 months ago. Now, 6 months fast forward into the future, right now, it passed, and look, this is why, a lot of prophecy been passing, all right? And it's a lot of things going on in the earth. So you could tend to forget. So to give advice to, anybody that's watching this video, man, save all the stuff. All right? Save all the stuff that you can go back.
Necessary. You won't have any option to fight it. No court date. Nothing. The rule has no age limit, and they can keep you for as long as they'd like. The rule also allows them to treat you as they see fit, including using methods that are still in testing. This is one of the biggest abuses of power that this country has ever seen. This is only the beginning. How long until this is nationwide or even global? So
yeah, that's why I want to name this video "Sorrows Will Spread Through Babylon the Great," man, because you got a lot of people who see stuff like this. Oh, well, I live in Colorado, so yeah, this don't concern me. Oh, I live in Texas, this don't concern me. I live in Georgia, this don't concern me. This going to be everywhere, all right?
Let me know your thoughts. This has come out in the past week, and take a look at the headlines coming out over the past week. Appeal planned after New York Supreme Court reinstates camp regulations. Court reverses previous ruling on New York State isolation and quarantine procedures. Quarantine isolation law reinstated after Appellate Division decision. And New York just made it legal to quarantine and isolate citizens indefinitely. Now, as I mentioned, I'm going to be sharing with you the latest on these articles so that way you can see exactly what's taking place. And yes, this has taken effect in the past week. The state of New York now has the ability to isolate, quarantine, and to do so however they see fit and for whatever duration. This, they said, is going to be appealed again as this continues on. And in it,
so you know that this is going to affect everybody, but every time there is an effect, who gets affected more? You tribes, because you are considered the low class. You are considered, the minority. And also, your status in this world, don't matter if you have money or not, you're still a NIGGA. You still a Latino. You still a Native American Indian, a Seminole Indian. Okay, so these nations, when all hell break loose, that's why the Lord called it Jacob's trouble. When all hell break loose, everybody is going to be against you, tribes. Our only hope is the Lord, but you out here naked, and that's why that destruction and devastation is going to come upon you, tribes, man.
In addition to that, take a look at what just came out right after this. Hochul announces new step to counteract rising online hate speech, as they're also saying they need to control the speech and the narrative to make sure that people...
So you see how they intertwine bills together? Everything leads to another one. It's a domino effect. All right, we're going to do this at this time, and it's going to lead into another thing to do. Because, we've been prophesying about taking away free speech. That's been like the past 3 months. They've been setting up bills for that. Remember, they trying to ban TikTok right now. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's all to get us off the airwaves. Because guess what? We the only ones that's talking about the destruction of this place and who's going to take it down. That's a power that they can't fight against. If the people came together and said, you know what, we're going to fight against the government, like I always say, y'all going to run out of bullets. They ain't going to run out of bullets, okay? They got bombs. You don't got bombs. Shit, they got grenade launchers. I know some people who can get their hands on grenade launchers, but guess what? You don't got a plane that could fly over, okay? That could fly over a city and drop some bombs, man. They got pocket nukes. They got all kind of weaponry that you don't even know about. The things that we heard about and the things that they kind of let leak out. If they let these things leak out, you could just imagine the type of weaponry they have, especially the DEW. I ain't gonna say it because I want this video to stay up. They got the DEW, man. They can melt your insides, from the inside out, man. Microwave weapons. Do you got that? No. So yeah, people are in for a rude awakening. Let me get this real quick. This is the time frame that we are in this world. It said, "Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, 2 or 3 hours of her birth pains could pass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slacked to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn. Sorrow shall come upon it on every side."
Are getting what they are saying is the truth. I'm going to share with you the latest. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, before we dive in, do me a quick favor. If you appreciate the updates, even though they might not necessarily be what you want to hear, but you appreciate getting the latest news, smash the like button for me. Just takes a second. And if you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. I'll let you know everything going on. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at these articles that have come out in the past week and what's going on in New York to get you caught up on the latest, and let me know, is it time to get out of the state of New York? So link in the description below to this article that came out just a couple days ago that says New York just made it legal to quarantine and isolate citizens indefinitely. Now, what has happened in New York? Well, a New York appellate court has just upheld Governor Kathy Hochul and the state's appeal that the government should have the authority to isolate and or quarantine anyone with a highly contagious disease. Regulation 10 NYCRR 2.1.
And guess what? You don't even have to have it. That's what's written in the bill. You don't even have to have it. They could just detect. They could just say, you know what? I think the person over here on Martin Luther King Boulevard, you already know that's always the ghetto. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, 2147 address. I think they got it. You know what I'm saying? And then guess what? You don't got to get tested. They could just think that you have it, and boom, you getting snatched out of your house, your family being separated. And it's all in the scriptures, man.
3 established isolation and quarantine procedures for people that were suspected of having communicable disease. The original regulation wasn't even during COVID. It was enacted under the state's emergency authorization powers on February 22nd, 2022. It has been renewed in 90-day intervals, with the state pushing for permanent adoption. A legal challenge ensued, with the New York Supreme Justice upholding the plaintiff's argument, saying that it's unconstitutional. At New York Attorney General Letitia James's behalf, the appellate court has now overturned the ruling, and it is downright frightening the consequences that this could have on America's liberty.
Right, so they overturn it. Oh, you try to fight against it, they overturn it. This is happening, man.
Bird flu has been detected in America's largest city, with a small number of birds in New York City parks and green spaces testing positive. A human infection from the outbreak was reported earlier this month in Texas, where a worker at a dairy farm had symptoms similar to pink eye. The CDC says there's no sign of bird flu spreading between people. Bird flu has been detected.
So they're talking about bird flu again. So as you see, quarantines, bird flu being talked about at the same time. Now they're saying that, if you eat meat or drinking milk, whatever the case, if you eat any type of dairy products, you could possibly have bird flu. So that's like they basically putting people in a position where you kind of can't escape it. So that means that they could just, hey man, oh, you came across some steak today? Oh yeah, you got it. You gotta go into the can I say it? Should I say it? You gotta go into the quarantine camp. We put it that way. The FEMA. All right. They built all these FEMA facilities over the years back in the Obama administration. And you think they just build them for no reason? They got to fill them up, and they're going to fill them up. And they've been waiting for this day to do it.
First it was the cows, and now the chickens have tested positive for the bird flu in Texas. You see this right here? The largest fresh egg producer in the U.S. has found bird flu in the chickens at the Texas plant. See, at first it was the cows that had the bird flu. Even a person that was on the ranch has caught it from exposure from the cows that was ill. Now the chickens have the bird flu. 3.6 out of 1.6 million of the total flock was destroyed after it was infected with the avian influenza.
And that's killing two birds with one stone, because if you're saying that birds with chickens, cows, got the bird flu, they can get rid of that meat. And then that's also causing a famine at the same time. And remember all of those food processing plants that got destroyed from 2020 all the way up until now. The last time I checked, it was like 226 facilities of meat plants and processed food plants being destroyed. So the famine is on the way. Remember that bridge that collapsed? There's a lot of stuff going on, man.
Bird flu. That first person in Texas to catch the influenza was the first mammal to catch the bird flu.
Matter of fact, let me get this real quick. And I'm going to allow the rest of that video to play out and end it. Because remember, so going back to the quarantine thing, right? See, the Lord prophesied this. It said, behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, and your spoil shall be divided in the midst of you. Your house is going to be plundered. All right. Whatever you have is going to be taken. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem. That's Jacob's trouble, to battle. And the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, the woman ravished. All right. You want to go out there and show your cleavage in your butt? Okay. It's going to be taken. And half of the city should go forth into captivity. And half of the city should go forth into captivity. What they're talking about in New York right now, that's going to lead to all these states. Yeah. And the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. That's the elect. And it said, then shall Yahweh go forth and fight against those nations. And when he fight in the day of the battle. So all this destruction going to come, then our Lord going to come. But guess what? 2/3, Jacob's trouble, y'all going to get it. Even some of us, the ones that's going to be martyrs, we're going to be grabbed up too. That's in Revelation 20:4. We're going to be beheaded because we ain't want to bow down to the system and to his image, his mark, okay? The number of his name. And then we're going to finish the video out and end the video. Get this last scripture, the famous classic scripture. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil has come down unto you, having great wrath, because he know he had but a short time.
Which mean it mutated. Not only is the prices of dairy, beef, chicken, and eggs is finna skyrocket through the roof. Now the first known case of bird influenza is now being recorded. Yeah. Let that sink in. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this bird flu outbreak.
So, Shalom.